Hello and welcome to Ticker Symbol Live, your daily look at ARK Invest's data for the previous trading day compared to the day before that, where we try to align our vision of the future with ARK Invest's daily trades to see if we can sniff out buys and sells that align with our vision. So, lots of big news. Today is going to be all about Tesla because as ARK Invest's biggest holding, Tesla jumped 20% yesterday, which resulted in roughly a $500 million move for ARK Invest, specifically in ARK-K, ARK-Q, and ARK-W, the three funds where Tesla is the #1 position for ARK Invest. So we'll be talking a lot about the data, the great day ARK Invest had yesterday in terms of trading positions and moving things around. And then we'll focus a little bit on what Tesla actually is, what kind of company it is, and how it's at the center of this convergence, right? I see people piling in here. I have a lot to go through today, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and get started with some channel news. So the first thing I'd like to say is tomorrow will be the last day that this streams on both ticker symbol U and ticker symbol live. I'm going to move all of the live streams just to ticker symbol live. And then on Friday, you'll have the daily live stream on ticker symbol live and the weekly upload to ticker symbol U. The reason I'm keeping them as two separate channels is that way you have the chance to subscribe to whatever fits your vision or your investment thesis the best, right? So ticker symbol live will be my personal analysis of ARK Invest's buys, sells, and positions. And ticker symbol U will always be focused on that cinematic vision first investment experience where we take a look at one of ARK Invest's big investment theses every week. And we try to pull apart what's going to happen in the future, that is 2 to 5 years from now. The two channels work together, but I realize that both sets of content are not for everyone. So that's why I'm splitting them into two separate channels. Hit that notification bell for the thing that works for you. Subscribe to the thing you'd like to check in on once in a while, or if neither parts of this framework are up to your vision or your standard, feel free to ignore me, right? The other big piece of news is starting next week, this daily series will move a half hour earlier, right? The feedback I've been getting on that front is that people would like more time between the end of this episode and the start of market open to do their own research and Google the things I'm talking about. I totally get that. I love that. And I will definitely make that happen. So starting next week, ticker symbol live will start at 8:30 a.m. Eastern instead of 9 o'clock. And then the last thing is comment below. Do you want to see these every day, 2 or 3 times a week, once a week? I want to do this in a way that's best for you. If every day is too much, let me know. If, once a week is too little, let me know that too. I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Lots of stuff in the comments. I'm actually going to keep focusing on Tesla today. So I'll take Tesla related questions and general trade related questions, but I'd like to stick to Tesla and those funds today. So let's go right into the dashboards. I have the dashboards ordered in terms of ARK's biggest holdings. So number 1 is Tesla, number 2 is Teladoc, number 3 is Square, so on and so forth, right? And that matches exactly what's going on in this bar chart. As we can see from yesterday, this heat map just shows us it was nowhere near as red of a day as we're used to over these last couple of weeks. ARK Invest has been buying as many stocks as they've been selling in terms of individual positions. And of course, number 1 on the list, we can see Tesla moved a massive almost 20% market close yesterday to the trading day before that. Their total position is now $3.5 billion in Tesla spread out over their 3 funds that include it. Tesla is the number 1 position in ARK-K, ARK-W, and ARK-Q. That's their General Innovation Fund, their Advanced Internet Technology Fund, and their fund themed around the autonomous revolution. Lots and lots of green happening across the board in ARK Invest yesterday, increasing their shares in Teladoc, Square, Roku, Shopify, Zillow, and a lot of these stocks have had massive moves in the market yesterday. We can see that Roku, the stock we talked about yesterday before market open, jumped a whopping at 10.37%, Square 11.5%, Zillow, ticker symbol Z, another 11%, And then Baidu jumped a massive 13%. So the two stocks we talked about during yesterday's episode were pretty big movers. And that's why I like doing this research. If we can spot the stocks that ARK Invest has high conviction in but have dropped a lot, ARK Invest thesis hasn't changed because the market has one bad day. So we can tie that 5-year vision of the future with the things happening in the market in the moment. And that's the two key pieces of this framework: having a strong vision that we're confident in the future so that we can take advantage of mispriced stocks that are affecting that future today, right? So with that said, I'll stop for questions about the dashboard and trades quickly because I want to talk about Tesla. I've been averaging into Tesla as it's been dropping this whole time. Tesla is actually my favorite stock. I try not to talk about it too much just because I don't want to be a Tesla channel. I like Tesla for a very different reason, I think, than most people like Tesla. I'm not very interested in their cars. I'm very interested in the batteries of their cars, and that's going to be the focus of the episode today. I'd like more than once a week, but don't burn yourself out doing it every morning if it's too much. I appreciate that feedback. I'm not burned out. I'm super passionate about the stock market. I'm super passionate about the future. And the reason I'm passionate about the stock market is simple. It's because it lets me buy chunks of the companies I believe are investing in our future, your future and mine. So it has nothing to do with stocks. Stocks are just the mechanism that I can buy into the future. And that's why I like ARK Invest so much, is because their whole site, www.arkinvest.com, ark-invest.com, is all about research and vision and innovation and disruption. And then they have another site, www.arkfunds.com, which is just where they post their daily data that we can walk through. But it's interesting to me always that their main site, the one named after their company, arkinvest.com, is all about research. And I never burn out doing research. Okay, let's turn the conversation on to Tesla. So from now on, if you have specific Tesla questions, I'll do my best to answer them, but I want to rock it through this episode, right? Let me stop sharing my screen here. Let me share my browser. Oop. Sorry about that. Okay, let's start simple, right? When I say the convergence, what do I mean? These are ARK's pillars of innovation and innovation technology clusters, right? There's a lot of words on the screen here. There's a lot of bubbles. So let me quickly explain what's going on. At the center of the convergence, which is the increasing overlap between advanced disruptive technologies, is artificial intelligence. And if you've been following either ticker symbol U or ticker symbol live now for any amount of time, you'll know that I'm big on AI. All of my degrees are in applied math, electrical engineering, and artificial intelligence. The stuff I did at MIT was focused on computer vision and artificial intelligence and deep learning, right? And that makes me super bullish on ARK Invest's thesis because they understand that artificial intelligence is driving the productivity up in many different key areas at the same time. And the thing that makes that special is one innovation in artificial intelligence can bleed into different market sectors, different industries across different geographies and different areas of research, right? So for example, computer vision is just as useful for self-driving cars as it is in medical imaging, as it is in deep space imaging, so on and so forth. Radars are used in deep space imaging and they're used in Teslas, right? So being able to understand how those two things relate and overlap is critical to ARK Invest's investment thesis, right? Cool. So the other big blocks that they focus on are blockchain, DNA sequencing, robotics, and energy storage. This is where Tesla enters the picture. Tesla is a world leader in artificial intelligence, energy storage, and robotics. And those three things are combining to form an autonomous mobility giant, self-driving cars that will then allow people to stream entertainment while they're inside the car that's driving itself, unlocking a lot of extra time and valuable downtime for people that they'll spend in Teslas alone. Teslas will have a captive audience. That's the full ARK investment thesis on Tesla, right? So not just autonomy, that's the starting point for what comes next. So let's take a look at what Tesla is and what we know and love about it today. I am going to talk first about the cars, right? The cars, as we all know, full self-driving is on the way. Full self-driving, has been promised year over year, and I'm not saying it's on the way tomorrow, but we all know that Teslas have a bunch of sensors and a bunch of electronics and a bunch of things that help it drive itself, right? It would help if it didn't automatically scroll. That's okay. So these sensors are what allows the Teslas to see the things around them, and the artificial intelligence chip they're creating are the things that allows those sensors to talk back to a central computer and let the car drive itself. Tesla is a vertically integrated artificial intelligence battery as a platform company. The big thing about this car is not what you're seeing here. It's the battery underneath it. The car is just the shell for a battery and a computer that drive itself, taking people from point A to point B. But Tesla is a battery company, which means those batteries can also be used in other more interesting ways. For example, storing energy from solar panels, storing energy to charge your car, but also to charge your home. That's where the Powerwall comes in. So, like we said with ARK Innovations, with ARK's innovation clusters, right? When you do advancements, when you make an advancement in energy storage, like battery chemistry, like we saw in the previous battery chemistry day, right? Battery day, those advancements can happen in multiple places. They can happen in the Tesla cars, increasing range, right? Or increasing efficiency per unit battery. And they can affect the energy storage solution of your home or of the energy grid, right? So one chemistry advancement unlocking things in multiple market sectors and areas. For example, in the Powerwall. Another example is the Industrial Power Pack. The Industrial Power Pack is an industrial solution that's going to be displacing utilities. Why? Because legacy companies, whether we're talking about automotive or banking, which is this week's episode, or utilities or anything else, all of those legacy industries are getting upended by the software-enabled, internet-focused version of that industry. Tesla is a software-enabled battery company, right? This is the part that interests me the most because 6 out of 10 of the top revenue grossing companies in the world are utility companies. So Tesla's big target here isn't actually the auto market. It could be the utility market, right? And this, what I'm showing you on screen right now, is exactly how they plan on doing it, right? So being software enabled lets you do a few key things that utility companies are just scratching the surface of today. It allows you to play a game about when to store energy versus when to sell it during peak times, right? So smart energy consumption is exactly what we're talking about here. Shaving energy on the peaks, offloading it during non-peak hours, storing it, and then either selling it for the best price you can, or alleviating demand during the peaks by backed up energy that you saved beforehand. Shifting the load around the day, right? That's exactly the same thing. Providing emergency backups and demand response, right? That's the critical piece here. Smartly using artificial intelligence and internet connected batteries, moving energy around to the places you predict will need it most. To do that, Tesla has made what's called the auto bidder. The auto bidder lets you control and move or store energy. And the fundamental decision that you're making when you look at the auto bidder is it better for me to store energy today, use it right now, or sell it off, right? And if everyone is playing this game at once, then everyone becomes their own distributed utility, right? My background is in electrical engineering, so I get more excited about utilities than the average person, but utilities are fundamental to everything, the way we work, the way we play, the way we transact, and the way we live and breathe, right? Imagine your life without electricity. Now imagine if everyone got a fairer rate on that same electricity. So this is what's important, right? Software enabled batteries as a platform. That's what ARK Invest sees in Tesla, right? From multiple angles, the automotive side, then the autonomous mobility side on the automotive side, but also the energy storage and utility democratization side. That's the key thing I want to talk about today. Tesla is an energy company. They're a software enabled battery company. If you're still thinking about them as a car company, your investment thesis is going to be comparing them to Ford, to GM. That's not the right company, and neither is Just Utilities. They're doing something new. They're making batteries as a service. When you do that and you combine it with the auto bidder, you can do clever things. For example, you can see how many people are charging their cars versus their homes. How many people don't have power today? How many people may not have power tomorrow due to inclement weather, like what we saw in Texas in February, right? So using predictive analytics, you're able to move power where you need it most, not just in cars, but in homes, not just in homes, but in utilities, not just in utilities, but in microgrids. And the last piece of this puzzle I would like to share with you is microgrids. Microgrids, I hope I'm going to the right section here, right? I thought microgrids were below. So don't worry about what you're seeing on screen. Microgrids are the idea that you can offload from the major grid to what's called a microgrid, a self-sustaining, smaller grid of energy producers, consumers, and storage solutions so that you can be self-sustaining even if the grid around you goes down, right? So imagine you, your generator, and your car and your solar panels would form a one-unit microgrid, right? You're producing the energy from solar panels, you're storing it in your power pack, and you're using it in your home and in your car, right? Now imagine multiplying that by 2, right? So you and your neighbor share a power pack, right? Instead of 2 power walls, you have 1 power pack, 2 solar panels, 2 people drawing off that grid, right? That's a microgrid of 2. If the grid goes down around you, you still have your microgrid. Big businesses, now imagine campuses, right? A Walmart, a shopping mall, all those things can form their own microgrids so that when people don't have power, they can go to the mall and the mall still has power. Imagine how useful this is, not for the mall or for your home, but for hospitals where a power out could cause like lives to be lost, right? Or a police station or a fire station or any of the emergency services that need a whole different thing than we do. Instead of getting the best bang for their buck, what they care about is reliability, right? Reliability is a different way to optimize for on the auto bidder, right? Instead of giving me the best bang for my buck, give me 100% uptime. I need to have power as often as I can because I'm an essential service. I'm an ambulance. I'm a firefighter. I'm a police officer, right? I'm a military. You know what I mean? So you can play all these different games through artificial intelligence of saying who needs power when and why. Inclement weather, right? The major grid is going down. It's hot and everyone's running their air conditioners and there's not enough electricity to meet the demand for everyone. Well, now we can share and spread some of that load around these microgrids. Well, what does Tesla need to do that, right? They need to turn everyone into energy producers. If only they were in the solar panel game, right? Well, that's exactly why Tesla builds solar panels. All of this is part of a bigger strategy to capture the full energy cycle. And we're talking about the same company here. I haven't switched companies, right? We're still talking about Tesla. Tesla acquired its own Solar City, right? Which was another Elon Musk company several years ago, and now it's all Tesla. Well, this is what you're seeing today. That change from being a motor company, an automotive company, to being an energy solution, end-to-end energy. Solar panels produce energy, power walls and power packs store energy, and the cars are the first of what I think will be many systems that consume that energy as efficiently as possible. And we're already seeing some of those other systems roll out. For example, the Tesla Semi, which is, a much bigger version of the car, but designed for logistics instead of point-to-point personal travel, right? Now, we're not just moving people, we're moving things. Now, we're not just moving people and things, we're moving and storing energy, right? So that's what Tesla is designed to do. Hopefully, that gives you a much better appreciation of what Tesla is as a company, and more importantly, why it's ARK Invest's biggest holding, and why it's essential to their vision of the future and their convergence of these key technologies. Again, when we talk about the convergence, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about artificial intelligence, energy storage, and robotics. coming together to do clever things in clever ways. One is autonomous mobility. The other is energy management globally and through microgrids. Cool. So that's what I wanted to get out about Tesla. I'm super bullish on that company. I like their cars a lot, but what I love is the software-enabled battery. So now, with that big spiel out of the way, I get really passionate about Tesla. I'm happy to answer questions, wrap up, and let you go for Market Open. Oh my gosh, I am way behind on the chat. Super exciting. I totally agree with this. How big of a deal is household heating and cooling? Excellent question. Your heating and cooling is about 40 to 50% of your energy consumption at home today. So one of the big things you're catching on quick, Sean, and that's great. One of the big things that I believe Tesla will get into the future is home heating and cooling. They make the octo valve for their cars. They are big into thermal management because thermal management is a big problem in their cars. Sorry, not a big problem, but a challenge that costs energy in their cars. I believe that once they do all of this stuff with home energy, the next logical step for them is to develop a home heating and cooling solution that's much better at heating the home during cold days, cooling the home versus hot days, and knowing where you are in the home just with little sensors so that it can open and close vents, right, to rooms that nobody's in. And if they can control that cycle of heating and cooling, now the energy you store and use in your home is much more efficient. It gets used way better. So Tesla has a lot of expansion opportunities and a total addressable market in the energy side of things, heating and cooling, not just energy management. Excellent question. I believe that Tesla will get out of the automotive business before long. Their future is in energy. I'm going to modify that a little bit. I think they're going to get out of selling cars to people. I think they're going to sell self-driving cars to businesses and focus a lot on autonomous mobility, right? Using autonomous ride hailing as their ultimate solution. You can still buy a Tesla, but because the FSD, that full self-driving package, should go up in price, they might naturally price people out of their cars unless they don't want the self-driving version. And being able to turn that switch on and off in software is great because, again, now they're making one product but catering to two very different markets. People who want a Tesla for themselves and people who want to manage a fleet of autonomous taxis. Very, very different markets, right? Yeah, so managing heat and the efficiency of heat is very critical to Tesla's future game plan because it's the biggest source of energy consumption. When you're talking about heat, you're talking about one of the biggest drivers of battery energy consumption. So the more they can do in that game, the better off they'll be for all of their products that use energy. I see lots of comments about home heating and cooling. Hopefully I've addressed that to exhaustion. So if the audio is bad, hopefully this is a little better. I apologize. I'm finding the right place for my mic and we're going to roll right through it, right? A lot of people saying they want to see this every day. I appreciate that. I'm happy to stream every day. Would Tesla go into aviation? So Elon Musk has talked a lot about electronic vertical takeoff and landing vehicles because energy density of batteries has gotten good enough so that you can stick it onto a little personal helicopter and have that helicopter drive you roughly 110 miles, right? So that's about the distance between Tampa and Orlando. I'm here in Tampa and it takes me about 3 or 4 hours, in heavy Friday traffic to get to Orlando. That could be as little as 15 minutes in an electronic vertical takeoff and landing vehicle, which is being enabled by energy battery densities, right? Reaching good enough levels to be able to put in those vehicles. They used to be too heavy to do that. Now, not so much. And I believe that in the next 4 or 5 years, Tampa and Orlando will have this electronic vertical takeoff and landing helipad that enables people to pay roughly the cost of an Uber ride. 110 mile Uber ride is not cheap, but it gets you over all the traffic and all you have to do is pick up a car from the other side of that flight path, right? So that's pretty crazy. I don't know if they're going to be Tesla batteries, but Tesla's revolutions and innovations in battery chemistry are certainly enabling those cost curve declines, which is, again, everything we're talking about here. Costs dropping in batteries, costs dropping for artificial intelligence solutions, and costs dropping in robotics, all at the same time to enable these unbelievable combinations of technologies that simply were not financially feasible before. Which of the minerals would you say is most important for EV? Lithium, copper? I actually think right now one of the limiting factors of that is cobalt. I could be wrong, but I think that's why they're trying to go for cobaltless battery designs. I definitely need to read up, so grain of salt, like that could be out of date information. But after cobalt, I believe it's lithium. Audio is great. Glad to hear it. I'm still fiddling. This is only my third live stream, so hopefully everyone can bear with me while I figure it out. Nickel, yep, another great resource that is essential to batteries today is nickel. That's correct. And then I'll take one last question because it's almost 9:30, and I'll let you go for market open. Hopefully this kind of structure is informative. Last thing I want to say, I'll take one more question after this, is let me just quickly go over the channel logistics again for everyone who wasn't here in the beginning. Thursday, tomorrow, is my last day streaming this on both channels, right? I'm trying to reduce the noise on ticker symbol U. That's the main channel. Ticker symbol live is this front facing, you see my pretty ginger face every day, and we talk about stocks and the companies behind them and how they're essential to that vision. But the vision itself is always going to be on ticker symbol U. On Friday, the live stream will be only on ticker symbol live. We'll keep going every day, right? Only on ticker symbol live, and the weekly video that comes out on Fridays will come out as usual on ticker symbol U. So 2 uploads on now 2 fully separate channels. And then starting next week, just remember, we're going to move forward half an hour. So instead of 9 a.m. Eastern start times, ticker symbol live will go live daily until the crowd tells me otherwise at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, a full hour before market open. The episodes will be no more than half an hour, giving you a little more time to research whatever I'm talking about before market open. And then, one more time, you should comment below if you want to see these daily, twice a week, once a week, whatever the right cadence is for you. I don't want to be causing unnecessary noise. My goal is to keep you and myself informed about ARK Invest's buys, sells, and current positions in the companies that they believe are essential to their 5-year vision of the future. That's what ticker symbol live is about, while ticker symbol U is about exposing that vision point by point, week after week. Okay, let me answer one more question and then we're out of here. Oh my gosh, lots of questions. First of all, thanks for the donations. I always appreciate these. I do these because I'm super passionate about investing, the stock market, and the future, right? So whenever I see this, I really appreciate it. You're buying me my next cup of coffee, and I love coffee. The chart's a little blurry when streamed in 720p. I'm buying the 1080p package this weekend. I'm going to alleviate that. I apologize, and I appreciate you sticking with me. Lots of comments about liking these dailies. Lots of interesting comments about battery chemistry. I'm going to try to pick one that is a real, integral to this episode. So I appreciate all these questions. I'm just trying to keep these tight, right? Can you talk a little bit about the future energy needs and how energy-dense batteries will need to be? Blockchain, AI, robotics, etc. seem to be super heavy on energy consumption. I love this question. I love it. And we're going to talk about it a little bit. You're free to go. I know the market is opening right now, but if you're sticking around, this is the question I want to focus on for a little bit. Battery density and energy needs are critical to the future of different applications in different ways. And as a result, what I think will happen is we're going to start seeing more application-specific battery chemistries. So not the general types of batteries that we see today, but we'll have batteries specifically for cars. And we see that today. There are batteries today that are car grade and ones that are not car grade. They're not suitable enough to be used for automotive. I guarantee you, we're definitely going to see that for electronic vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. Batteries that can handle the kind of load and offload that are required of vertical flight and moving heavy things in the sky, right? Without burning, without getting hot, without blowing up, etc., right? Are very different than the batteries that we should be seeing in our cell phones, right? The battery in my cell phone doesn't need to be the same high quality as something with a passenger in it in the sky, right? So to answer the heart of this question, blockchain mining, like Bitcoin mining, crypto mining, hospital battery packs, electronic automated ambulance packs, cell phone battery packs, etc. If we can sort those out by application, then we can get the right minerals and the right chemistries in the right batteries and have more battery specific, application specific batteries. If we do that, then we can alleviate some of the constraint on the minerals that we have for the battery applications that don't need it. If we need a certain mineral in car batteries that we just don't need in cell phone batteries, we can save all that mineral by never putting them in cell phone batteries, right? So there's a lot of work to be done in the application specific energy storage space, right? And I believe that's an essential piece of the puzzle to understanding ARK Invest's vision in energy storage. I could be wrong. I'm definitely not speaking to ARK Invest or for ARK Invest. And of course, nothing I say here is financial advice of any kind, right? This is my vision of the future and my understanding of ARK Invest's vision of the future. I believe that application-specific battery chemistries will play an essential role in the energy storage space as we get more and more constrained in our consumption of energy and the amount of batteries we can produce. As more and more people get cell phones, as more and more people get electric vehicles, and so on. So I appreciate that awesome question. That's the last question I'll take for today. Please keep sending me these questions. If you want, I can sign up. I can start a little Q&A thing on the channel or on my Patreon or on Discord or wherever you think is the best place for me to post those questions. And if you have them in advance, then maybe I can spend some time reading them and address them, in one episode or the next. So I encourage you to look at all the links in the description below. Find the ones that are going to help you the most with your research or connecting with my other videos on the research if you like using me as a data point in your own investment thesis. And I will see you tomorrow for the last episode that's streaming on both ticker symbol U and ticker symbol Live. This is ticker symbol U, and soon ticker symbol Live. My name is Alex, reminding you that the best investment you can make is in you. Thanks for watching.